Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Musical People and Journeys, the rock album review show. And welcome to my panel. There's Trish, there's Dave, there's Ian, and there's Dom. Welcome to another glorious show, everybody.
Morning.
Hello.
Cool stuff. Well, listen, before we start, please, everybody, like and subscribe our show. And I've seen this so many times, it seems to work for people if we give a shout out for like, subscribe. And hey, we are trying to get to 100! Yes, not 10,000, but 100 subscribers before 2025. How about that? No, come on, before the end of the year. Before the end of summer, let's try and get to 100 subscribers, because if you do, I promise you, the more you do, the more content we can put out there, the more bands will want to come and we can interview them, and we've got amazing interviews, so please check out our YouTube channel, where you will find some brilliant content. Anyway, on with the show, because what is the show? Well, we review, as we say, the latest rock albums, and we put them together. Oh my boy, oh boy. We mash them up and we go battle of the bands, and then we decide which one we're going to buy. But even more, we rate them out of 5. And if they score more than 20, they're going to get into our very exclusive Hall of Fame. And if they do really well, they might even get into our Album of the Year when we get to bizarrely at the end of the year, where by that stage we'll have got to 100 subscribers, because you guys have liked and subscribed us. Isn't that right, everybody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Absolutely.
That's what we say. So, who's our first mashup? What two glorious bands are we reviewing today? Well, first and foremost, it's the Dave Matthews Band and their album Walk Around the Moon, against Matchbox 20, Where the Light Goes. Bit of space going on there, bit of light, bit of moonlight, who knows? Let's anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. So, who have we got first? So, well, Dave Matthews Band. Now, obviously, you know, I'm going to be a little bit biased here because my surname, at some part, we've probably been distantly related from the Princes of Glamorgan. You know, so probably me and Dave are somewhere related. I'm just saying out there, Walk Around the Moon. Who are they? Well, they are an American rock band. So obviously he emigrated, or his family emigrated, from Charlottesville, Virginia in 1991. The band's founding members are songwriter, guitarist Dave Matthews, bassist Stefan Lazard, drummer and backing vocalist Carter Burford, violinist and backing vocalist Boyd Tinsley, and saxophonist Leroy Moore. As of 2022, Matthews, Lazard and Burford are the only remaining founder members still performing with the band. In 1994, major label debut album Under the Table and Dreaming was certified platinum, not once, not twice, not 3, but 6 times, everybody, 6 times. And as of 2018, the band has sold more than 25 million concert tickets, a combined total of 39 million CDs and DVDs. Poor. 2018. I know, right? Well, not finished. Come Tomorrow debuted their 2018 album. Come Tomorrow debuted number 1 Billboard, number 1 on the Billboard 200, making DMB the first band to have 7 consecutive studio albums debut at peak. And the band also won the 96 Grammy Award for Best Rock Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group. Wowzers. So, Dave Matthews Band, right, where are we going to start? Well, obviously, we're going to start with Dom. Because, you know, I mean, he looks like an astronaut. He looks like he might have walked around the moon. That's tenuous, but there I go. So, Dom, talk to me. Dave Matthews Band. Heard them, liked them, loved them, seen them before, heard them before?
No, I've never seen them before. I have heard bits and pieces of them. I thought this was a really well-accomplished album, actually. I thought it was a bit of a classic, really. It's like big band sound, but everything really locked together, really nice. They've been around since, like, the 90s, haven't they? Or earlier. They've got that benefit of experience. It's clearly there. I don't think they've ever really had a big hit outside of the US. But it's got a bit of everything. That's kind of what I liked about it. It was a bit like one of those kind of classic rock. What it reminded me of, his vocals reminded me quite a lot of Robert Plant. And some of, you know, like Robert Plant's like solo albums that he's done in recent years. There's one, Catching Fire, and it sounded quite a lot like that. Carry Fire, it was called, the album. And I think it had a bit of vibes of that, which I really loved. It got a good groove to it, and then there's a bit of country rock, and then there's a bit of something a bit more heavy, and then something a bit more big band. So I thought lyrically it was all there, kind of meaningful and poetic, and it was also a bit rocking. I really loved it. Great album.
Ian, now, bit of Dave Matthews, mate. We all know you love Matthews, but did you like this Matthews?
You're right. That man, Paul Matthews, he's amazing.
I know.
You're absolutely, absolutely. Dave Matthews Band. I've just come back from a cruise, and I've been listening as I've been we've been whale and dolphin watching, and some of the tracks on this album have really gone well as a soundtrack to doing that. Standing on a ship for hours on end, just looking at CCC, and eventually, there's a whale, and that's it. And then another few hours. And this music has been fantastic soundtrack to that, and really kept me entertained throughout. This album specifically has helped me with that, because I love the variation in this album. I totally agree with Dom in terms of you've kind of got almost like a big band sound, but you've also got in there, you've got a prog rock sound, you've got easy listening, you've got a sort of easy light jazz type song, Ocean and the Butterfly. Oh my word, what a beautiful track that is. And then a bit of like almost a funky rock with The Only Thing. So you do have a little something for everything. I was tempted to have a look around, see how long they've been around, but I thought, no, I'll wait and hear what you say and what others say, because I don't want to know whether they're accomplished or not. And clearly they are, from what Dom said and what you've said at the beginning there. I found it to be a really good, pleasant background ambient album to have. I don't think it's something I would intentionally put on unless I'm back on a cruise ship again, looking out at the sea, looking for whales and dolphins.
Well, you do that quite a bit, so I imagine Dave Matthews could be a stable diet for you there, really,
yeah, I do. Yeah. And I thought it was a really well-rounded album, and a little bit thrown. I was thinking, why is this on a rock review podcast? But there are some tracks that are definitely more rocky, but there's some tracks that are like, this isn't exactly rock, but actually as an album does have a rock influence, and I love the whole production of it and the variation. So very pleasantly surprised, and we'll be looking out for more of their stuff.
So Dave the Legend, talk to me, legend. What did Dave Matthews do for you?
I mean, it's not really particularly my style, this, but I've got to admit I really did enjoy this nevertheless. The creativity and the skill which this album's been put together has got to be admired. It's got a really nice flow to it. Perfect chill out album. I've been listening to it a bit sort of late at night after I've sort of listened to some hard rock and just sort of on the more sort of chill down, and it's gone perfectly for that. The musicianship throughout, very high level. Break Free, a particular standout track for me. Love the intro to that. Wasn't a great fan of his vocal styling, but even that grew on me as the album went on. I mean, if you're into your sort of more laid-back rock, then I'd recommend this to anybody.
Cool. Right, well, without further ado, Rock Chick Trish, what do we got then? Was this... this is what it's going to be quite interesting, because this is definitely not your typical sweet spot of an album. So, but what did it do for you?
Okay, so I'd not actually heard of this band before, so I had no idea what to expect or have any expectations. With the opening track starting with the slow strumming guitars and then slow high vocals from the lead, I was like, oh God, please something kick in this track for me, especially as it's an opening track, and that's the first thing that you want to impact you in a positive way to want to listen to the rest of the album. The beat did lift a bit, with drums and trumpets kicking in a blues folk way, which isn't my bag really, but I remained open-minded to see what the rest of the album's like. Madman's Eye next had an oriental sound to it and quite dramatic, which I liked, but if I had to pick a favourite track, it would be Break Free. Unfortunately, I can't be overly enthusiastic about this album. It's an easy listening album to have on in the background. Reminded me a bit of Elbow. It's not a go-to album I would pick to listen to, as it's just not my kind of style of music, which I feel bad saying, but that's just how it is.
Oh, absolutely not. It's all about, we rate it for our listening pleasure. We keep harping on about that, but it's for our listening pleasure. So some songs are good, but I think that was pretty good. So what did I think about this? I think this is one of the nicest easy listening albums I think that I've heard, all year, really. I mean, it is, and I agree with everything you said. The musicianship, the composition, absolutely spot on. I thought, Madman's Eyes, such a clever track, really beautiful. I think the Rolling Stones did something similar with that kind of theme when they did an experimental album, and I really liked it, and I think he blended well in, and as you know, and I'll say this very carefully, I do like a little bit of funk. Okay, I love funk, and I love that funk and that rock kind of combination. And he did this on several tracks, and I really liked it. I really did. I think a bit like Trish, it's not an album that is gonna hit my ultimate sweet spot, but I have to say, I did enjoy the album. I thought it was absolutely terrific. And Walk Around the Moon was one of my other favourite tracks as well. Loved it. Really good. Some were a bit too slow. I know what you're saying about Elbow, but my God, if I listen to an Elbow album, I'm asleep. I definitely wasn't asleep on this album for sure. But and the next thing I hear hear a whale go blub 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 in the water, then I'm going to obviously think of this album. So because that's a very apt description, I mean, how do you describe a soaring whale or dolphin looping out the water than blub blub blub? So thanks for that, Ian. That was conjured up a wonderful image on that one. So, right, well, we're going to reserve the votes for now until we move on to our next album, which is Matchbox 20, Where the Light Goes. So, who are Matchbox 20? Well, they are known as MB20. Wow. They're also, surprisingly, an American rock band formed in Orlando, Florida in 95. So, been around roughly about the same time. Group currently consists of Rob Thomas, lead vocals, guitar and keyboards. He's a busy boy. Brian Yale, bass guitarist. Paul Duchette, drums and rhythm guitar. And Kyle Cook, lead guitar and vocals. So, Matchbox 20 rose to international fame for their debut album Yourself or Someone Like You in 96, which was certified. Now this is interesting because we said 6 times, did we not? Did we not for Dave Matthews? Well, hold on to your boots. Certified 12 times for platinum. 12 times. Wow. So making it diamond. There we are. In the United States, a multi-platinum, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. Their second album, Mad Season, released in 2000, charted in the top 3, and was certified 4 times a platinum in the States. And their third album, More Than You Think You Are, released in 2002, was certified twice the album. So downward trend. Okay, so look, the band has been on a hiatus. They've come back. And on September the 4th, 2012, the band released their 4th album, North, which debuted as number 1 on the Billboard 200. Their 5th, Where the Light Goes, which is now released in 2023. So, right, Ian, let's start with you then. How about a little bit of Matchbox 20? MB20!
MB20. I absolutely love this album. It was pop rock, is how I would describe it. It wasn't traditional thump rock, but I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of influence, I thought, were like some of the more recent, a couple of the recent Take That tracks, Biffy Clyro, Matt Cardle, that type of influence, especially with the vocals. And like the strumming and the riffs that went in there. I loved the opener track, Friends. I thought that was a fantastic opening track for an album. Really got you into the mood of it. And Queen of New York City. I absolutely, it's such a good hook, catchy song. Catchy is unfair word. It's engaging rather than catchy. Describe something you listen to and think, oh, I can't get it out of my head. This you don't want to get out of your head, so it's quite engaging. Overall, I thought that sorry, just to add on, to give the reference, Take That, Wild Dogs, it sounds like one of Take That songs, and I can't remember which one. And Rebels really had that Biffy Clyro feel to it. I thought altogether it was a beautiful, gentle rock album, definitely for road trips, and to have on ambient in the background, that's for sure. So I was blown away by the simplicity of this one, I think.
Well, talk about simple. We'll move across to Dave.
That's not very nice, is it?
Mate, truth hurts. What can I say? But you're still a legend. And anyway,
You've got a point, to be fair. So.
MB20, let's crack on.
Yes, really enjoyed this. And like I said with the last one album, this is another very well put together album. What I liked about this is everything seems to have a purpose. Good example of that for me is Warm Blood. One of the very few tracks to feature a guitar solo, but the solo just adds to the song. Great way to finish the song. It's simple, there's nothing complicated about it, but it's there and it does a job. It's not just sort of tacked on for the sake of putting a guitar solo in there. Great mix of upbeat tracks and more mellow offerings. As Ian said, Queen of New York City, particular highlight for me. Really, really good track, that. If you're into your soft rock, because this is definitely on the more sort of soft rock end of the spectrum, then I think you'll really, really enjoy this album, and it's definitely one that I will be going back to, that's for sure.
Ooh, Trish, then, a bit of MB20. Did this float your boat?
Wow. What a lovely start to the album with the upbeat friends. And this is how the rest of the album flowed. Indie pop feel-good songs that had me dancing in my chair. It has a mix of beats as well as being the ballad One Hit Love in there for good measure for ballad lovers. While I was listening, I was thinking that they sounded similar to other bands, and then I realised that they had a sound akin to Train and The Fray, all good established bands in their own right. Matchbox 20, even though they have a similar sound, they also have their own individual sound, and some of the high notes the lead singer reaches and then can take it down a notch in the next breath is well achieved. I did feel this wasn't a rock album until the guitar riff at the end of Warm Blood and in I Know Better, which I really enjoyed and wish there had been a bit more of that to make it a rock album for me. That being said, this is a really lovely feel-good album that can be listened to anytime and anywhere and will bring a smile to your face.
So, talking about putting a smile on people's faces, Dom.
It's my job. Yeah, I thought this was really good. I thought it was kind of dynamic, but it was also kind of chilled out. It felt mature, you know what I mean? It felt like it was accomplished and comfortable. Yeah, it was more in that alt rock, pop rock, kind of style that everybody else has said. So it was a bit kind of going down the middle for me, but I enjoyed it a lot. I thought, like everybody else, I thought the first track was Friends was their best. The chorus on there was really good, and they had these beautiful layered backing vocals and everything on. There was that chanting bit going on, which was really nice. So you could see them. I think they would be a great live, stadium type band that you would just really enjoy. Good sing along vibe. So I thought it was solid. Nothing amazingly remarkable about it, but yeah, it was good, solid album.
It's kind of interesting, isn't it? I think my least favourite track on the album was Friends, because I just thought it was incredibly generic, and I've heard it all before, and I'm going, oh, here we go, and then Queen of New York City cracked in, and boy, the album kind of had me from then. And then Don't Get Me Wrong was good, and then the guitar solo in Warm Blood, and they varied it up. They didn't stick with that kind of try and tested generic kind of rock pop with Friends. They moved away from that. They varied it. They changed it. This was a really good rock pop album, you know, and we hear a lot of rock pop albums, and the problem with rock pop albums is that they stay generic right the way through. They didn't. They varied it up, they mixed it up a little bit, but without going silly, you know, without going off on some ridiculous kind of prog rock kind of theme. They kind of held it in check. Very professionally done, brilliantly recorded, great vocals, great arrangements, solid, really good, interesting, enjoyable rock pop album, I think, without any shadow of a doubt. I kind of sometimes cringe that sometimes I get mashups wrong, but I think I got this mashup absolutely spot on. I think it's a really, really nice battle, and I think it's going to be super close. So let's find out then, shall we? Who will win this mashup? Who will we go and buy between us? And how much we're going to rate them? Rate them out of 5 for our viewing pleasure. And, you know, that magical score of 20 will get them into our Hall of Fame. Let's find out. So, Dom, we started with you. So, we will start with you again, Dom. Dave Matthews Band, Dom.
I'm going to go 4.
4. Ian.
I got 3.5.
Dave.
4.
4. Trish.
2.5.
2.5! Ooh, that's actually spot in the middle. Really,
Funny that.
fine. Got a 4 from me as well. Really liked it. So we're going 12, 15 and a half, 16, 18. It's not quite Hall of Fame, but that is a big score. That is a big score. It's going to get into our top 50 for the year, for certain so far. And there we go. Right, okay, let's go with Matchbox 20 then. Dom.
3.
3. So 1 up for Dave. Ian.
I said I like this a lot. I really liked it. It's a 5.
Whoa!
5 for me. Absolutely.
Wicked!
Absolutely.
5? I wasn't expecting that. I thought it's going to go 4, 4.5. So it's 1 apiece. Dave.
4.5 for me.
4.5. Matchbox stomping through here. Wow. So 2 and up. Trish, I think I know where this is going.
4.
4. Okie dokie. Also 4 from me as well, but I would have gone obviously with my brother from another mother, because obviously we're related somewhere down the line. I would have gone for Dave Matthews because actually no, genuinely I like the funk element of the mixture, whatever. But I think this could be big news for Matchbox 20. We're going 8, 12 and a half. We're going 17 and a half, 20 and a half. Oh my word. Just about, but it's made it, Matchbox 20, into our Hall of Fame. Congratulations. And it's rare that a rock pop album actually gets over there as well. So it's a real solid album right across the board. Congratulations to Matchbox 20. See, look, you formed in 95 and now 28 years later, you have finally hit. Forget all these platinum albums. Forget them all. Okay, there are 20 odd platinum certifications. This is what counts. Hall of Fame, Matchbox 20, from the MPJ lot. Right. Okay.
I think,
Was 1995 really 28 years ago?
Yes.
Wow. What I found from doing this is when I first started looking at this, a lot of albums were making my albums I love playlist, and that I've edited that, and whatnot. It takes a lot for an album to get on. This Matchbox 20 is just on there. That's not going to come off anytime soon. That's for sure.
Well, I wouldn't expect it. If you give it something a 5, then absolutely. Okie dokie. Right. Well done again for Matchbox 20. Thank you very much to my wonderful rock crew today, to Trish, to Dom, to Ian, to Dave. Hey everybody, keep on rocking, and guess what? Please like and subscribe. Please get us to 100. And we'll speak soon. Thank you very much, and tune in again for the next album reviews. Goodbye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.